Mining infrastructure space has this interesting problem right now where the signal-to-noise ratio is genuinely terrible. There's a lot of stuff out there that looks technically credible on the surface but doesn't actually have anything real behind it. And there's a smaller set of platforms that are quietly doing serious work without making nearly as much noise about it. And figuring out which is basically what I've been spending my time on for the past few years. That process has gotten more structured over time. I have a pretty defined testing methodology at this point. I run platforms across multiple sessions and configurations before forming any kind of opinion, and I don't put anything on this channel until that process has run its full course. So, what I've got in front of me today is a platform that's been in my active testing queue for about 3 weeks now, and today I'm just going to walk through the whole thing in real time. No preparation, no cleanup afterward, just exactly what happens. All right, dashboard is loaded. So this is the primary interface. Session configuration, live monitoring, all of the operational controls sit on this screen. So first thing, I am selecting a token, going with LTC today, and I want to spend a beat on this. The platform runs on multi-chain, which means in practice is that I can match the session to whatever's most efficient given my current holdings, rather than being constrained by what the platform happens to support. Good. Now I'm moving to the power configuration. Here I set the operational intensity, the resource allocation depth, the processing load, the overall performance profile for this run. And the reason I treat this as an actual decision is because it has a direct relationship with the final structure at the end. So there's a real efficiency consideration built into how I configure this. Okay, I'm good with these parameters. Pressing start, and session is running. Console is live right here. It gives me actual system level visibility into what's happening rather than just a status indicator. So I'm gonna let this run for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll take you through the full withdrawal sequence. Okay guys, so pop-up is on screen, session is wrapped, and right here it's showing me the exact LTC output from this run. That's number, that's what this session produced. So next step is getting my receiving address entered. Let me handle that. Okay, that's confirmed. Next is the infrastructure cover. That's the system's charge for the session, calculated from the configuration I had set and the total active runtime. Predictable model, nothing that shifts after the fact. And this worth specifically pointing out, I have complete freedom over which asset I use. It's purely based on what makes the most sense for me at this moment. There's also a wallet connect option that handles the whole thing in a single automatic step, but I'm doing this manually so every part of the process stays visible. Everything is submitted, tapping right here, and now it's just in processing. Should clear through in a few minutes. Okay, while that's moving, I want to spend 60 seconds explaining what cloud mining actually is at a fundamental level, because people land on content like this from different starting points, and I think a shared foundation makes everything that follows more useful. So instead of purchasing physical mining hardware, running it at home, and absorbing the power, heat, and maintenance costs that come with it, it offers industrial-grade computing infrastructure that's already operational inside a professional data center. I define parameters, and the system executes the workload on their end. No technical setup, no hardware investment, no operational overhead on my side. But because that user-facing model looks deceptively simple, it's consistently attracted projects that imitate the interface without any of the underlying infrastructure. So I've been caught out by projects like that before, more than once. And I raise that not as a personal anecdote, but because I think the version of this conversation that treats the experience as a reliable shield against this kind of thing is actively misleading. It isn't, and it wasn't for me. These projects are assembled convincingly enough to pass initial scrutiny. And what sustains this as a recurring problem is that this industry generates a structural kind of impatience. The pipeline of new platforms and new narratives never closes, and that constant flow creates pressure where being thorough starts to feel like a liability. The people running bad projects have a precise understanding of that dynamic, and they build their operations specifically around it. So, the one principle I hold without negotiation every single time, I withdraw funds off the platform and into a self-custodied wallet before I find a reason to delay that. Not eventually, not reactively, as a standing default from the very first session. That discipline has protected me in ways I probably can't fully account for. Okay, so last thing, and I want to make this specific rather than general because I think vague endorsements are worth very little in this space. What I can tell you after weeks and just over 20 sessions on this platform is that the operational picture is clean. Not clean in the sense that nothing is complex or that I didn't have to think carefully about how I configured things. Clean in the sense that every time I set something up and ran it, it performed the way the platform said it would. And that's actually harder to fake over time than most people realize. That's where I land on it.